That's right, Jet fans. AFC East standings as of today, after 6 games played. First place, Buffalo. Of course, they are the favorite to make it to the AFC Championship game or later. Second place, above 500 for the first time since 2015. Your New York Jets, Jets. Miami drops to 3-3. New England increases their wins. They go to 3-3, and we're going to cover it all today on the takeoff. And now let's check out how I did with my picks. I wish I would have bet this week. Out of 5 games, I hit 4. Carolina getting 10 against the Rams. I said Rams would win and cover the spread. Rams did win and covered the spread. I took Seattle over the Cards. Cards getting 3. Seattle covers 19-9. I also took Dallas. I'm sorry. I also took Philly, giving 6.5. They won 26-17. The only loss I got, and I think this was more of a homer loss because I was rooting for KC to beat Buffalo, so the Jets would have some sort of advantage. Buffalo giving 2.5, won 24-20 to KC. That's my only loss. And then there it is. New York Jets getting 6.5. They won 27-10 in Green Bay. 4 out of 5. Great week on picks. And again, right there is what I'm loving. That's right. Good victory Monday afternoon. New York Jet fans and NFL fans, I always say give it 24 hours. It is October 17th, 2022, 3:31 p.m. So we have about 29, 30 more minutes to enjoy this victory. As you just saw, the Jets, second place in the AFC East, 4-2, above 500 for the first time since 2015. Could have been tied for first, but had the tiebreaker with Buffalo because Buffalo lost one in the division. The Jets are 1-0 in the division. Buffalo, I mean, they are the real deal. Beat Kansas City last night. Got the Mahomes late as well and picked them off to seal the deal 24-20. The only game I missed out of the 5 picks I did. But let's jump into yesterday's games, or yesterday's game with the Jets. Before I go any further, though, I didn't cover this earlier with the picks because I didn't pick the game. Giants hosted the Ravens. Opening day for the Jets was Jets hosting the Ravens. The Ravens have an explosive team. Their offense, their defense, all around good team. Lamar Jackson, very hard to contain. The Jets did have some, I'm not going to say success, but they had times where they weren't still in the game, but they just can't keep up with them. I'm not going to go what ifs if this one wasn't injured, if this one was playing, whatever it is, they lost that game. Giants yesterday down late, got the game tied, took the lead, and then took the ball away from Lamar Jackson. Giants are 5-1. Much respect to the Giants. I know people say Jets Giants are rivals. They're not rivals in the NFC East. We play them once every 4 years. Um, this whole thing with the stadium and all that. Listen, the Jets should have the success that the Giants have had in the past, and it looks like they're getting it back. And I've been saying the coach for the Giants, Dabo, reminds me of Rex. Yesterday, I got to tell you, and I've been hearing this a lot when I'm listening to and when I'm reading. Yesterday's Jets um, Green Bay game, a lot of Rex in that game. I could relate to the 2009-2010 season. Round and pound. Zach Wilson only attempted 18 passes, completed 10 of them for 110 yards. So he was averaging about 11 yards of completion. No interceptions, no touchdowns. He managed the game the way he had to manage it. Why? Brees Hall, 20 rushing attempts, 116 yards. I mean, you're talking 6 something a yard, maybe 5 something a carry. One touchdown, a tremendous touchdown. Um, Braxton Berrios had a 20-yard end around touchdown. That's the second touchdown he's had this year on an end around. I mean, on all phases of the game, it was a great game. I will say this: until mid fourth quarter, and the Jets started to pull away, I was still very concerned. You're still playing Aaron Rodgers. You're still playing a future Hall of Famer. You're still playing the Packers in Lambeau after, losing to the Giants on out in London last week. You figured they come back. There's something like, and I'm going to just approximate this. They are, I believe, 11-0 after losing a game, and they are, I think, 15-0 the last 15 games at home. I think that's it. They were the number one seed last year in the NFC. Jets beat them. I don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers' thumb um, because his thumb was the least of his problems. Quentin Williams with 2 sacks, a forced fumble. Quincy Williams, I mean, just lit up players. Dwayne Brown running in front of Brees Hall, chugging down, throwing blocks. A blocked field goal, a blocked punt return for a touchdown. I mean, the one decision, and I'm just going to say this, is late in the first half, and I heard this and read this also. Jets had 4th and I think 1. All right, they attempted a 53-yard field goal that went wide. Would have put them up 6-0. Instead, gave Packers a short field, and they tied the game. Could have gave up the lead easily. Jet defense stood up, forced the field goal, and the Packers tied it. There were 3 ways to go about this. So, of course, hindsight, the first one is you don't go with, and I'm watching the Philly-Dallas game from last night, you don't go for the field goal because if you miss it, you give them a short field. And I know Brees Hall was on fire yesterday, but maybe you punt. You held Aaron Rodgers down. You're getting to him. You're sacking him. He's not making completions. Excuse me. Punt it away. Give them a long field to deal with. That was number 1. Number 2, go for it. It's still going to give them a short field, but not as short as a 53-yard attempt would have given them. And then, of course, a 53-yarder would say best. But you know what? In the end, it worked out. But that was the one coaching caveat that I did disagree with. It was weird watching this game because I was actually at a high school football game for my daughter's boyfriend. He plays for Moore Catholic. You're going to be hearing about this kid for a long time. Henry Tabansi. He is a left tackle. He is a talented young individual. Anyway, they traveled to Hicksville, Long Island to play Holy Trinity, which has another talented team. I believe there was 6-0 before yesterday. So, of course, Jets are away. Okay, let's take the family out to Long Island. Both games start at 1 o'clock. What are you going to do? So I get the phone. I'm watching the Jet game. I'm watching Henry play. And my cousin Richie, who, God bless him, he was with me at the Jet game last week. He lives out in Long Island, met me and the family at the game yesterday, not far from his family's home. And where his parents used to live, sat there. The game went back and forth to the final second. Moore Catholic took the loss of an incomplete pass in the end zone. Excuse me. They lost 21-14. It was 14-7 going into about 2.5 minutes left, and Moore blocked the punt. They scored a touchdown. Holy Trinity got the ball back with 1:32 left. Their running back just laid off phenomenal. I think it was a 72-yard run or a 62-yard run. Ball got the ball back, got the ball downfield, and with 1.6 seconds left because they have the speed clock coming down. It was an incomplete pass, and Holy Trinity won. Walking out, we're talking about that, talking about the Jets, talking about the Giants, talking about all these things, and Cousin Richie comes up with, and he comes up with good ones, and we're going to try to get him on this. Yes, today's game between these two high school teams were better than the last 2 Thursday night games. He didn't miss out. He hit it right on the head, Richie. So thank you. He's great, and so anyway, so I'm watching the game, and it's 3-3, and I take my eyes off the phone, and I look down, and I see that the Jets are driving, and of course, I'm the visiting team over at Holy Trinity, and one of their family members see my Jet shirt, and they say, "What's the score?" And I go, 3-3, but Jets are driving. As I said, I looked down, and Berrios just took his end around, 10-3. Then I looked down again, 17-3. They blocked the punt and ran. I just could not believe this. When it got to 17-10, I did have concerns. The Jet defense stepped up. Brees Hall was not being taken down. They added the field goal on later on. They made it a 3-score game. And at that point, I figured it was done. Also, as I saw, Aaron Rodgers was then taken out of the game, down 3 scores. And the Jets do victory formation. I mean, basically, for the 3rd week in a row, we've won 3 in a row. And I want to just look into this. Listen, We went into Cleveland and we went down to the last two possessions. I mean, basically, that was the 100-year storm. Everything had to happen, and it happened. And we were like, well, you beat Brissett and you lucked out. It was the Browns beating the Browns. Okay. Then, we come back and kind of Cincy kind of puts us back in our place and shows us where we are in the league. And we held our own for Cincy for a little bit. We go to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh had their starting QB start. I forget his name, and then Pickens come in, and Pickens made it a game after we were up. And again, it took us to the last drive, and Zach Wilson, who by the way is 3-0 starting this year, gets us to score with a little bit under a minute to go in the game or what have you, and we win that game. And they said, well, you beat kind of an old veteran and a rookie. Steelers aren't the Steelers, but okay, we still won in it's not Heinz Field anymore, but we still won in Pittsburgh, a place we've only won once in our history. We've only won once in the state of Pennsylvania in the regular season and or playoffs. Then we come back and we face the Dolphins, and people are picking the Dolphins, and even with Tua out and Bridgewater, first play, Sauce, who by the way, I'm going to have a story about Sauce also, knocks Bridgewater out, gets to safety, his first sack. I forgot who the third string comes in. He was a 7th-round pick last year. He gets the rest of the game. Jets blow him away 40-10. Well, you didn't play the full Miami team. You didn't. Okay. This is also the Miami team with Tua that beat Buffalo, an injured Tua. But okay. We went to Lambeau. It wasn't the frozen tundra. It wasn't one of those nasty late October, early November, cold, whipping rain. No. Basically, the elements were not a factor. It did look a little chilly there, but we went in and we beat the Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau. Jet fans represented. There was a lot of green and white there. A lot of them were Jet fans. I saw that, and a shout out to everybody who went out there. Made the trip to Lambeau. It was worth it. And we won. So 4-2, you can only play who's on your schedule. Yes, we can make excuses, but we had no quarterback playing that was injured or we were missing. So we played who was in front of us, and we beat them. If we would have lost, it would have been headlines. We beat them, and there's no headlines. But you know what? That's all right. We'll fly underneath the radar. Sauce Gardner with another shutdown game. Did get dinged up during the game. They took him out from concussion protocol. I don't believe he returned to the game. But at that point, I don't think that they were concerned because they were up by 3 scores. But I think he was released back. But after the game, a video was released, and it was Sauce running on the field with a cheese head, a Packer, cheese head, which they are iconic for. And he was not only with the Jet fans, but he was kind of, jabbing at the Green Bay fans. And we haven't had this kind of energy since when, Rex? Okay? And those young players. In the video, you see him go into the tunnel, and then a wide receiver from the Packers come over and kind of knock it off his head. Sauce then picks it up and tries to continue in the tunnel, where security, it looked like a police officer, kind of stopped Sauce and turned him around to go back out on the field. I guess they didn't want any type of confrontation. I don't know if Sauce was going to go after the receiver or the receiver was, whatever it was all good fun. They did ask Sauce about that at his press conference after the game, and he said that a Jet fan actually handed him the hat. That he didn't take it from a Packer fan. He didn't knock it off somebody's head. A Jet fan had handed it to him. I also heard, and I read today from people who were there, first of all, Sauce was out after the game high-fiving Jet fans that stayed around. And also looked like what I heard was he was signing the cheeseheads for people who wanted them. So Sauce is living up to his nickname. Yesterday with the hat on, he was Cheese Sauce. And of course we had Sunday Sauce when we got home from the game. But listen, everything is good today. It was a good Monday. Got home. The Yankees won. It's just a good Sunday of football locally in all of New York, if you want to count the Buffalo Bills, even though I wish they would have lost, and the Yankees. The night before, the Islanders won, I think 7-1. So it was a good sports weekend. Don't even want to jinx tonight's game. I'm not even going to say who's playing and what it's all about, but we want to just continue that. So it feels good a win like this, and I keep hearing it. And I said this in the beginning. It feels like a Rex team, and I was a tremendous Rex fan. Listen, I know Rex came in with the rah rah and kissing Belichick's rings, and we're going to meet the president. And you know what? We were very close to those games, but we didn't get in. Um, and then Rex, as much as I hated to see him go, his time I think passed him here. But I truly believe Rex will always have the green and white in his heart because it was his first head coaching job. His dad, of course, the iconic Buddy Ryan, was the defensive coach when they won the Super Bowl. And I think Rex went from being in the spotlight to Buffalo offering the job, and he just ran to Buffalo. Um, and I always thought there would be an opening for Rex to come back here, but he's good at what he does in the studio. Rex was born to be on camera. He is a defensive great, coach. But this brought me back to 09-10. This reminded me of the Hard Knocks. This reminded me of Round and Pound with Thomas Jones, LaDainian Tomlinson. Mark Sanchez kind of managing the game. Now, I don't want Zach Wilson just to be a manager. You don't just win a lot of games with a manager. They catch up. Yesterday, we didn't need Zach to be the hero. He hit Corey Davis on a big drive in the third or fourth quarter. I think it was the fourth quarter to put the Jets in scoring position. He made the plays when they had to make. Like I said, he made 10 completions out of 18 attempts. He didn't even attempt 20 passes, but he did what he needed to do. Didn't turn it over. Didn't take any bad sacks. Didn't take any unnecessary. It did take a few risks that I would have brought back. But this is a kid. Yesterday was his 17th game. He just completed one season at a game. Sorry, I'm just very dry these last few days. So the Jets go to 4-2. I'm going to enjoy this for the next 13, 14 minutes. I'm going to watch the highlights again. But I wanted to get this. I was actually going to do the video last night, but I was so tired and trekking back from Long Island. Just a long day. But it was just nice to, again, for the second week in a row, watch victory formation. Late in the fourth quarter, not have to worry as much. I mean, I always worry till it hits zero, but, when it got to 3 scores, I said, all right. Then Aaron Rodgers, basically, when they weren't putting him on the field, they conceded that game, unless something really drastic happened. So, congrats to the Giants, 5-1. The Eagles, 6-0. They are the real deal. The Buffalo Bills beating out on Kansas City, and of course our New York Jets, Jets. Enjoy this. Don't take any criticism. Don't say they didn't play. They beat Green Bay in Lambeau with Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't the backup quarterback. It was Aaron Rodgers. Okay? So enjoy it, Jet fans. We have Denver coming up this week. Denver plays tonight against the Chargers. The Chargers tonight, I believe. So we'll see what they're doing. Russell Wilson has not been the Russell Wilson that he was in Seattle. But let's see what happens. But enjoy it. Victory Monday. Here we go, Jets. And even yesterday, Robert Saleh started to show the Robert Saleh that he was in San Fran, showing that emotion. It wasn't frustration; it was finally happiness. And at the end of the game, in that press conference, and he's done this the last 3 wins and the last 4 wins. The one versus Cleveland and the loss and then the 3 in a row. Never said we are where we're supposed to be. Never said we're happy with this. They're enjoying it, but he knows there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot of work to be done. I'm not going to talk about postseason. I'm not going to talk about past the next few games, but I will say this: I had them losing this game. At this point of the season, I had them two, 2-4. Okay, they beat Pittsburgh and they beat Green Bay. I did not have them winning those two games. I also had them losing next week against Denver. I'm going to give my predictions later on in this week. So I had them at 2-4 after 6 games. The opposite of that, keep proving me wrong. Go 4-2. We are 4-2. I'll take it. Like I said, first time we're above 500 in 7 seasons or 8 seasons. First time we won 3 games in a row on the road since 2010. Now I know Cleveland, and then we lost Cincinnati, but Cincinnati was over here at home. And then we beat Pittsburgh, Miami, and Green Bay. Pittsburgh and Green Bay. So those 2 on the road games, 3 road games that we've had with 3-0. You got to be road warriors, especially, down the stretch. Well, listen, there's a lot of football to be had, a lot of football to be played, a lot of improvement to be made. But I am very, very happy about yesterday's game because yesterday could have been that letdown game, and not letdown where they're expected to be Green Bay, but you come off putting 40 points up, and you know what? They put up 27 points to beat Aaron Rodgers, and you figured they hadn't put up 27 points. But it was a blocked field goal that took 3 points off the board for Green Bay, but also the Jets missed one. So say it's a wash. Okay, but the special team still blocked it. It wasn't like Green Bay missed it. Blocked a punt and brought it for a touchdown. There's a 7-point swing right there. Okay? You got Breece Hall, who, by the way, and this is what makes me happy. This is what makes me think finally things are clicking. The play that Breece Hall scored on. So, first of all, what a great play design. Back in 2009, when the Jets were in the playoffs against Cincinnati, I always loved this play. Sanchez duped to the right like he was going to pitch it, and with his left hand pitched it to his left. And Sean Green took it and rambled 30-something, 40-something yards for a touchdown. I always loved that play because you have the defense going in one direction, and he pitched it to the left, and once Jones got past the line of scrimmage, he was gone. Nobody was catching him. Always loved that. Yesterday, what they did was just the opposite with a little bit of a snare to it. So Zach faked the pitch to his right, okay? So there's a pitch. Gave an inside handoff to Breece Hall. Now, Breece Hall was supposed to come around to the left and pop it over to Garrett Wilson, and Wilson was supposed to take the end around the other way. Hall saw, first of all, defender too close to Garrett Wilson and to him, where it probably would have ended up with a loss of yards, or maybe no gain at all, or maybe line of scrimmage, or maybe even worse. Hall then decided, you know what? I'm going. Broke through the line of scrimmage, then broke through the secondary, broke tackles, and got into the end zone. They're thinking. This is a young kid thinking. And that's why they traded up for him. And when I said that last week, I was reading and they asked Jet coaches and GM and whoever, why did you trade up to get Breece Hall? They're like, because of the run he had last week? And they're like, you'll see. You'll see. Over 190 yards from scrimmage last week, 160 on the ground this week. This kid is making strides, and it just feels so good that finally in one game. Listen, I'm gonna give grades. I haven't given grades in a while because I didn't want to get there. First of all, special teams, B+. I won't give you the A because you missed the field goal, but B+, A-. Okay, you missed the field goal, so that's a little bit of a notch. But you blocked the field goal, scored, you kicked 2 field goals after that. Give you an A-, B+. Defense, A. I believe there was 3 sacks, a forced fumble. Aaron Rodgers really couldn't do much. They gave up a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers was 26 of 41 for 246. It looks like. and he threw a touchdown. So defense, A. Offense, B+. Not that they should have won by more. There were just some issues that, they need to hammer out. But B+. Coaching, B+. Again, some issues I would have hammered out. But again, this is for me watching it on the phone. Couldn't really listen. Overall, you're looking at a B+, A-. Congratulations. A near perfect game. And let's just keep the momentum going. So, again, we are the takeoff. We want to hear, did you go out to Lambeau yesterday? Please reach out to us on Twitter. @TheJetsTakeOff is our Twitter handle. Email us @TheJetsTakeOff@gmail.com is our email address. Facebook is The Takeoff. We're a Facebook page. We'd love to have you. And, of course, on YouTube, The Takeoff, Alex Parziali. Google us. Send us pictures from Lambeau. Send us video from Lambeau. I was watching on Twitter. We basically took over. We had fans get there on Friday. We took over Saturday. We were at bars. But I did hear this. And this is from fellow Jet fans that I know went to the game and tweeted us and all that. The fans in Green Bay were classy all the way. Somebody tweeted, they were giving props to Green Bay fans and said he paid $20 to park on somebody's front lawn to go to the game, and then they'll hang out and have a beer and eat with us. So, Titletown, this is NFL royalty, okay? And that's the way the fans react and are respected. And, Jets went in there and they took care of business. So, again, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. I will do a video again later on this week. If anything happens before then, I will, tweet it out or even make a video. Just quick news. Yesterday, so Carolina Panthers, of course, have Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Robbie Anderson, also a former Jet. Him and Sam with a connection here, and him and Sam with a connection to Carolina for a while. Sam obviously got hurt. I don't know if he played yesterday, but Baker didn't play. There were some issues with Robbie on the field. Got into it with his wide receiver coach. The wide receiver coach and him going back and forth. Wide receiver coach kind of walked away from him. The interim head coach, because Matt Rule was fired along with the defensive coach, yelled at the wide receiver coach. The wide receiver coach turned around, threw Robbie Anderson off the field, told him he's not going back in the game. Today, Robbie Anderson was dealt to the Arizona Cardinals. He is now Kyler Murray's wide receiver. There was a trade made between them. I don't know the details, but that was very early today. So there we are. Tonight's game is Denver Chargers, or I should say Broncos Chargers. Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, and hopefully it'll be a good game. And that's it. So again, have a great rest of your week. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a blessed week. Whichever you say it. Again, we are to take off and enjoy it. Jet fans, for the next 5 minutes or so. Let's go.